Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today with a Bethesda discussion video. Today we're going to be taking a look at virtual reality and Bethesda game studios because in another recent interview with Todd Howard, actually an article I covered a few days ago, he also said that Bethesda is expressing interest in virtual reality. And a lot of you guys wanted me to make a separate discussion video on that very topic. And I know we talked about it on the podcast and everything, and I do feel bad for kind of regurgitating these same topics that we talked about on the podcast, but since news has been dry thanks to all of the DLC not really coming out that soon, it seems like I'm going to have to kind of discuss stuff that we've somewhat already discussed in a previous video. So I hope that's okay with you guys, and I hope you do understand. But anyway, let's go ahead and get a focused discussion on virtual reality and Bethesda game studios. So they expressed interest. They are apparently working and testing things out, but they said in the article that they're yet to really find anything that really sticks out, and they're just kind of trying to figure things out before they go any further. So they're definitely working with it, but it's not a pure focus. So I kind of wanted to discuss what could virtual reality enable for Bethesda just wearing this VR headset. Well, Bethesda's always been an advocate for bringing worlds to life. That seems to be the number one important thing for their games, is not only to give the player a great sense of freedom, but to make that world a believable thing, to make it feel like you're actually there, and they always do it right. So I always thought to myself, how would virtual reality really work into it? And actually, we're looking at gameplay in the background from Immersive Gamer 83. He's playing Fallout 4 with a VR headset on, and as you can see, it looks very interesting. And I started thinking to myself a little bit that maybe virtual reality wouldn't tie into a Bethesda Game Studios game in the sense of, hey, it's got to be this standalone virtual reality project. While Bethesda Game Studios does like to push the genres forward and push tech forward, I feel like maybe virtual reality would be less of a focus but more of an asset to Bethesda. And by that I mean that it would be an extra thing to help bring the world to life to those who own VR headsets. I think it would really bring the world to life even more if I had a virtual reality headset on my face and I was watching this open world around me just by looking around with my own head. It would actually feel even more like a living, breathing place. Now, don't get me wrong, as I talk about virtual reality, I'm really not big on it. And the reason I say that is because I feel like it's almost too soon. Don't get me wrong, and I mentioned this on the podcast, that I feel like virtual reality is something that growing up as a kid you always thought would never exist. It's like, that's the future, man. And now it's here, but it's like, I just don't feel ready for it, you know? And I haven't gotten a chance to test it. I'm hoping at either PAX East or E3 I'll be able to get a chance to test virtual reality out. But I've heard that it's pretty cool, but it does need work. So don't get me wrong that I'm not saying like this is the biggest, craziest thing ever, but it does have me interested in what Bethesda could do with it, because I feel like virtual reality is something that could work for their open worlds. I don't think they'll ever work on a focused project for virtual reality, but nothing's out of the realm of possibility for Bethesda. They've kind of said that over and over with the recent Fallout movie news to the Fallout remasters they've talked about in the past, and so on, that really nothing's out of the realm of possibility, and they really discuss everything, where I feel like virtual reality is just another thing they're kind of talking about and testing out to see what they can do. And that's why it kind of leads me to the conclusion, and I feel like I said earlier, it would be more of an asset than a actual development project, where it'd be like, oh yeah, and Elder Scrolls 6, let's say they announce that down the line, that'll be our hypothetical game going onwards. Let's say Elder Scrolls 6 is this big game that they're announcing. Oh yeah, we also have VR support, so if you want to wear the VR headset, you'll be further immersed in this game. I think it'll be something more like that, and I think Fallout 4 maybe will get VR support at some point down the line in an update or something along those lines. I think it'll be really interesting to see where VR support goes for Bethesda, but I think, like I said, it'll be more of an asset than anything. I've seen a lot of people really excited for virtual reality, but I've seen a lot of people who really aren't too into it, so time will tell if you guys are interested or not. I'll see you in the comments, so be sure to leave your feedback down below. Other than that, be sure to follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, the links are in the description. Check out sugarbomb.com, the place by Bethesda fans for Bethesda fans. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.